singing, dancing, art, and so much more from guests who keep it real and authentic.
Sasa wewe, nitajuaje hautanihat? Intrude kimandesha, kabazu us,
So buckle up because this season is about to be epic with me, your one and only host, Susan Bulemi. Keep it locked right here on the Family Faith Show every Wednesday from 2 to 3 p.m. only on Capuchin TV. From wherever you're tuning in from, well, a very good afternoon to you, our dear viewer, and welcome to the Family Faith Show, right here on Capuchin TV with me, your host, Susan Bulemi. So today we are going to be having quite an intriguing and interesting discussion, or I'd rather say a debate on artificial intelligence, or rather most of you would like to call it AI. And the big question is artificial intelligence harmful or beneficial to the younger generation? And of course, I'm here with my good guests who are going to elaborate more on today's discussion. And before I allow them introduce themselves, I'd like to remind you, our dear viewer, that if you'd like to reach to us, you can always send us an SMS via our SMS number 21760, or you could also get to us via our social media platforms. So now I'd like to allow my guests introduce themselves, beginning with the lady.
Okay, thank you. My name is Oluso Yvonne. I'm a student at MKU. My parish is Our Lady of Assumption, Yamawa Parish, and I'm on the side that AI is harmful.
Okay, you're welcome, Yvonne. Next.
So my name is David Kiprotich. I'm also a student at Zitech University in Ruiru, so Thika Road campus. That's it.
Okay, you're welcome, David. Next.
Good afternoon. My name is Angela Nekesa. I'm from African Nazarene University. My parish is St. Joseph the Waka Cathedral, Ngong, and I'm on the side that AI is beneficial. Thank you.
You're welcome, Angie. Next.
Good afternoon. My name is Ryan Mwangi. I am a student at Tangazo University, and my parish is Tasia Catholic Parish, located in Embakasi, and I find artificial intelligence beneficial.
Okay, thank you so much, all of you, for being here today. And before we begin, before you get to tell me why you think it's harmful or why you think it's beneficial, maybe just your opening thoughts from all of you. You can tell me what you think about AI, or are there maybe any AI tools or software that you have used before? Because we started with Yvonne, let me start with Ryan this time.
It's not something new to me because I've used AI for quite some time. I've used ChatGPT, DeepSeek, I've used some other online AI tools in maybe research, sometimes image generation, and sometimes even looking for ideas, because sometimes I edit videos. So I use AI most of the times. That's why I find AI beneficial to me.
Okay. Yeah. How about you, Angie?
I am a regular AI user. As you said, I use like ChatGPT, there's Microsoft Copilot, and I also use AI checkers when I'm writing my essays and all that for schoolwork. So yeah, I think AI is very good. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. David?
Personally, I use AI. Most of the time, I get stuck, and AI is the only solution. For instance, when you're doing schoolwork, you have to check your plagiarism and everything. So, of course, AI is the only option. So, when I'm stuck, I go for AI. But on my stand, I didn't say my stand. So my stand is that AI is also harmful, despite its bright side.
Okay.
It's also harmful.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Yvonne.
Despite AI being harmful to me, I do use AI. Me being a journalist student,
Okay.
it's obvious that I use AI tools like CapCut to edit. I also use ChatGPT to get more information about tutorials. Yeah. So somehow I may find it beneficial, but it also affects me in one way or another.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and now maybe if we could dig deeper in today's conversation. And Yvonne, you've mentioned that even though you use AI tools and all those softwares, you also find it harmful. Maybe if you could tell our viewer today, why would you say artificial intelligence is harmful, especially to the younger generation?
With AI, you know, at any particular time that you put in your mind, you just like tell yourself there's AI. You must be lazy, of which you can't use your mind to like come up with an idea. You just depend on AI. So in many youths, it has brought a lot of laziness. Yeah.
And David, I can see you really want to say something, but before I get to you, Ryan, you're giving Yvonne a look like you're about to say something about, she's mentioned that AI could make you lazy, or you're not able to have original ideas. What do you have to say about that?
Yeah, it's kind of true, but when you're using AI, you have to know what you're looking for using that AI. So yeah, it can make you lazy, but at the same time, using that AI, you're getting some sort of knowledge. Even if it's making you lazy, you're still learning something. So yeah, it's still beneficial because you are learning in the process, even if you're being lazy.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now I'll come back to you, David, now. You also say the AI can be harmful.
Yeah. Personally, I think whatever my friend there is trying to say is that AI helps you learn new things every time, of which it's an AI, so you learn from AI. But the problem is it becomes something that it's an habit. So instead of you learning, you always know that I can always request the AI to help me. So you don't learn, you just like use it, and you are out of that AI or out of that site, and then the next time you need it or you are stuck somewhere, you go for the same AI. You won't use maybe the things that you learn from that AI because you already know it's gonna help me sort my problems. So I don't think, of course there are those who learn, but 90% of the people using AI, they end up just going back to the AI to get the same help. They don't learn from AI mostly. You learn, but you forget, and then you know very well that you can use AI to get your answers. Yeah, so I don't think it's helpful that much to someone who doesn't want to get help. Like she said, lazy people.
Okay. So basically what you're saying is that most people are now too dependent on AI, right?
Of course, everyone is dependent on AI, also students. We usually depend on AI for everything. Yeah.
Angie, your stand was AI is beneficial. Please tell us more.
To counter what my lovely friends have said here, I would use the analogy of a knife.
Okay.
If you have a knife and know how to use it, it would be beneficial. But if you do not know how to use the knife, it will be fatal. So on my stand on supporting AI, I feel like AI without humans cannot work. You need to like generate a prompt or whatever. So that means you already have the basic idea in your mind before typing it into something like ChatGPT. And more so for us students, as you said, we're too dependent on it. I'd like to counter that because maybe the research topic I've been given is something I've never heard of before, and I want to have like an idea of it. What I'll do is look up various books or sites, so not necessarily me being lazy, because that will prompt me to go to other sites and gain the knowledge you're saying is not useful. Yeah.
But okay, Angie, maybe I would just like to ask, because I feel like most people would argue, like you've said, maybe you've been given an instance where you've been given an assignment and you're not maybe aware of what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
We all know that, okay, let me use the example of ChatGPT because I think it's more common, especially to students.
Yeah.
Once I go there and do my research and ask maybe it's a specific topic and maybe I ask ChatGPT, what is this about? Don't you think I'll just be tempted to just continue and, you know, just go ahead and write everything that ChatGPT has given me without me having to go and just also do my own creative thinking?
Okay, now you see that's where the power of AI comes in, because we have AI checkers, which happen to be AI as well. So as much as you're tempted to like use ChatGPT for all your work, you know, at the end of the day, if they use sites like Turnitin, which most universities do, you'll be flagged for using AI, and hence you won't get the grade or you get low grades. So personally, at the back of my mind, I know as much as I use ChatGPT, it's just an idea. I can't take whatever it's given me fully and submit it to my professor, because at the end of the day, I'm the one who will suffer. Yeah. I hope I've answered your question.
Yes, you have. Ryan, just like Angie also said, AI is beneficial. Maybe if you could dive deeper into that.
To me, AI is very beneficial, and I don't look at it at the point of view that it's making people lazy. It's because times are changing. Like the way in ancient times there were no cars, there were no planes. So after the invention of cars and planes, you can't say that humans have gotten lazier. It's because change is inevitable. Change is something that will keep on going on. So I can say even if AI comes and you say it makes us lazy, I guess that making us lazy, it's because it is making work easier. And there's nothing wrong with making work easier, because at the end of the day, whatever you are expected to do, you're going to do it, no matter what you use, no matter if you use AI or you go and research on books. At least if you have finished the work that you are supposed to do, it's okay.
Back to you, Yvonne. When it comes to AI, a lot of people might argue, especially in terms of employment, we might also say that AI it might get to a point that a lot of people might lose, you know, jobs, or might not get the opportunity to get jobs because AI is basically simplifying everything. Do you maybe agree with that?
At some point, it may lead to unemployment, because let's say, for instance, you've been told to write a CV to a specific, like, let's say, for instance, a TV station. You don't have the knowledge of writing a CV. You just go to AI. You search how to write a CV. For instance, write for me a CV that I can present to a specific TV station. And maybe there is another person who is seeking for a job to the same TV station. So he or she has gone to the same site, asked the same question. Both of them will be given like the same answers. They present the same CV, like having the same knowledge. It's just like the names that are different, but the other knowledge is just the same. Like the procedure is just the same. So for me, I'm seeing like AI has made a lot of people not to be employed due to that.
David, anything else you'd like to add to that?
About the unemployment due to AI, I think, of course, AI, like Ryan said, AI is making things easier. Like, if I need to do this and my time is limited, I'll obviously I'll opt for an AI. But AI can't replace everything, you know. There are things, of course, AI has better ideas, but there are things that are like, for instance, if we say AI is replacing like everyone
Yeah.
in maybe, let's say for example, parenting. That's like employment.
Yeah.
In some way. It's like unemployment. Like you are supposed to raise a child. So there is no point that AI will ever take over something like parenting. But if AI, like if you like children nowadays, they are being brought up using these things.
Yeah.
Like a child can watch this, they can see a father doing this, which is AI, like a father who is AI. But at the same time, if you come to employment now, AI can do better work. But like she said, when we are presenting our CVs, it's almost the same.
Similar, yeah.
So it's like AI helped you gain that job. Like in a way, AI has contributed to you getting that job, which means maybe you won't be able to generate good ideas unless you use the same AI to get ideas in that job. Maybe you are a camera person, you need to maybe use different angles to do something. Now you go to the same AI and ask AI, how can I do this and that? How can I edit this and that? So at some point, I think AI is taking over, but at the same time, I think we are the persons who are letting the AI take over through this, like depending too much on AI, of which we have our own ideas. You can use AI maybe to develop your idea, but not to generate a new idea. You can have an idea, but prompt AI to help you develop it better, so that at least when you are at work, at least you can think better. Open-minded, you are open-minded, you don't think about AI all the time.
Angie, David and Yvonne, they have quite strong points in terms of unemployment and AI. What do you have to say about that?
I'd like to counter first what they've said about CVs. Humans, we're all different. My thought process and his thought process are not the same. So the prompts I'll put on AI is not the same prompt that he will key into AI. So there is no way the CV would look the same. Maybe the format at most, but my skills and his skills at the end of the day are not the same. He's good at voicing. I'm good at camera work and sound and editing and all that. So I don't think it will lead to unemployment, because without humans, there's no AI. That's the thing. Like, an artificial intelligence will just wake up and decide, oh today I'm going to work. You have to command it to go to work. So and I do agree with him to some certain point. If they do ever take up employment, we will be the enablers. But I still don't think that. Unless we enable them.
How about you, Ryan?
I support Angie, because when you're using AI, you are the one commanding it. You're the one giving it the order of search this, and or write for me this essay, or do this for me. You're the one commanding it. It can't do it on its own. So even if AI is there, I don't think it's going to take over whatever humans are doing, because you have to command it. It can't do it by itself. So
And okay, I do not want to sound like I'm being biased, but I'd like to ask, using the same example that all of you have mentioned about the CVs, we know we have, should I call them specialists, or there are people who, that's their line of work. They create CVs for other people. Don't you think now the point of unemployment, that is where it comes in? Because if I can go and ask AI, okay, create a CV for me, don't you think those people will lack, a way of getting their source of income?
Okay, as Ryan said while we were beginning the show, the world is changing and you have to keep up with the change. There are some works that become redundant as AI is there. So if that would ever happen, I just suggest that they learn a new skill to count. CV writing comes as an additional skill to another skill. But if they remain stagnant, change will take over and they lack work because of their own comfortability. That's my opinion.
Okay, well and good. Anyone else who wants to add anything to that? Okay. Then moving forward, I would like to ask maybe I want it to come out as a question. AI is programmed, right? Because there are machines that are programmed to work in a certain way. But don't you think sometimes maybe we might have a case whereby AI maybe does not take the information that you've keyed into it the way you want it to come out, and then maybe we end up having misinformation, or some of the information that you're trying to access from AI, you find it's kind of distorted. Do you think such problems can come up? Yeah. Okay, Yvonne, you can go first.
For instance, let's say you are asking a question related to media research, media research wise, and you've asked maybe ChatGPT, it may give you a different answer as the way you learnt in class.
Yeah.
So, and that may also build mistrust because you already had an answer, but us as Gen Z, we are like, ChatGPT ndo kusema. So like, you are like, let me just go to ChatGPT and maybe try to see if they rhyme. Yeah. And you may end up to trust ChatGPT compared to your knowledge that you had before. Yeah. And that may lead to misinformation. Yeah. You may lose maybe marks, for instance, due to that. Yeah.
David?
Personally, I think whatever you key in for ChatGPT, the ChatGPT takes it as a command, like you said. You're commanding the ChatGPT. So, like, if I tell ChatGPT to give me an answer in this format, it will give me an answer in that format. Yeah. And so, like she's saying, there are some lecturers, who strictly go with whatever they said or the notes they gave you
in class. Yeah.
In class. So, ChatGPT is AI. It thinks differently from whatever this lecturer maybe gave you. Yeah. And so that's where the diversity of answers comes in. Yeah. That's when you hear, I did a research and I found out that this and this is true, but the lecturer had said this and this is maybe wrong. Yeah. But at the same time, you can do nothing to ChatGPT because it's AI, and that's why we say it's harmful at some point, because that answer you're believing from ChatGPT is wrong to someone else, and that someone else is the one that taught you this. So I think ChatGPT at some point is right, but wrong. Well, if you key in information and ChatGPT gives you exact thing that the lecturer said or someone else said, I guess it's okay to use that information. But when the information now differs, I will advise anyone to go with whatever they were taught in class, because that person is the one that is going to mark. Yeah. And they directly go and Google. They use Google sometimes to see the kind of answers that Google gives. Okay. If that answer matches whatever you wrote, they automatically know you did use AI or whatever. So I'll advise anyone to use ChatGPT, but at least compare whatever ChatGPT. I know sometimes it's hard. Like you're stuck and you have limited time and you need to learn something. True. Personally, I can't advise anyone to learn anything with ChatGPT. If it's not like unasomea exam using ChatGPT, no. I would advise you to read the notes, because those things will differ, and ChatGPT may be more complicated than whatever you learned. Okay. Yeah.
Angie?
Okay, very interesting takes. Okay, very interesting. To being human, you're subjected to error. No one's perfect. And AI being a new form of technology, of course it has some glitches here and there, because manufacturers are human again. Yeah, true. So I think that we need to give AI more time for more advancement. Like, I think in the next 5 to 10 years, there would be any like glitches or misinformation or anything of that sort. Again, you can't be limited to conformity biases, whereby you go by only what the lecturers have said, because ChatGPT has sources from everywhere. The world is connected through like the optical fibers and whatever. So yeah, I feel like to some extent, as much as the lecturers might be right as per their examples, AI is more capable because it has a vast variety of sources. Yeah.
So you get to even learn a lot more than what you're getting in class.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Thank you.
What I can say is that everything that is beneficial, of course, it has a disadvantage. Everything, especially AI, because it's man-made. It's not made by God. So, of course, it will have error. So, somebody using AI, it's up to you to look for the credibility of the type of information inakupea. Si ati unaenda tu unatumia AI blindly. Everything that you ask it unatumia everything yenye imekupatia. So using AI pia unafaa uangalie credibility. That's why even if you're using AI, try to find out kama imekuambia hivi ndo ilisemwa. Unaweza enda pia utafute is it true ama is it false, because unajua AI refers from the internet, because it refers from the internet. Na the internet ni books that were written by humans. So of course books that were written by humans kuna errors mingi. So ukitumia AI unafaa ujue hivyo. Watu wengi hawajuangi hivyo by the way. So ukijua AI has errors, you will use it more wisely, if I can say. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, quite strong points from all of you. And I'm quite sure even our viewer to this point, they're actually wondering, okay, is it harmful or is it beneficial or it's in the middle, right? I would also like to ask, AI, do you think the students in school, especially the young children who are still, starting their education process and all that, do you think it's okay for them to start learning about AI while still in school? Or maybe they are too young and that will make them too dependent on AI in the future? Do you think it's okay for them to start learning?
For me, I don't think so. Because as they continue growing up, they may build mistrust in themselves. As I said before, they will be depending on AI. Even if the question, for example, he or she is just doing research on is easier, they can't trust on themselves. So this may build mistrust and may lead them to being misled by AI at some point. So for me, I don't think so. Yeah.
How about you, David? Do you think it's okay for them to start learning at a younger age?
Personally, okay, of course I am on the side that AI is harmful, but to now reduce the harm, I think it's okay for them to start learning about AI as they grow up, because if I start teaching you about something as you grow up, you obviously I'll teach you the negative side of it and the positive side of it, how to use it. So I think it's okay if a child starts learning about AI. So this child will not be dependent on AI every time, because through this AI, they will also realize if AI can give me this idea, I can also think of my own idea from the idea that I got from this ChatGPT or this AI. They open their mind. A young kid is always better. They think better. I'd say they think better and they learn things faster. So using this AI, this kid might realize its harmful side, its good side. They will know, what can I ask AI? If it's something like maybe I want to edit, it's good to ask AI, because AI, that's something that it's practical, more practical. So it will tell you, do this. If you do and it doesn't work like you wanted, you undo, So I think it's okay for them to learn about AI, because they will be cautious and they will also be aware of what AI can do for you, the risks. I will not put all my information, I want a CV. I cannot paste all my information on ChatGPT to create a CV for me, because if I do this, I lose this, I might be like, my location might be shared, cyber security, you know. So it's okay for them to learn so that they can know it's harmful and it's also positive at some point. Yeah, I guess it's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Angie, what's your take on that?
I'm a bit conflicted here because as much as I say AI is beneficial, I don't think at the stage that AI is in, at its tender age, it should be introduced to children. Because for us adults, we still haven't mastered or grasped AI fully. So introducing this to young minds will be more of corrupting it than benefiting the mind. In the sense that we've seen how photos can be warped into something that is not. So introducing a child to that or exposing them to that is more risky than beneficial. Yes, it has its benefits, but maybe in the years to come after its advancement, not right now at its tender stage. Yeah, that's my take.
Okay, Ryan?
My take is that AI should be educated to children because humans learning skills, maybe if you are taught something when you are a small child, then you grew up learning about it, you tend to use it better in future than somebody who has just started to use it while he was older, he or she is older. So if we teach children about AI, because of course we are teaching them about benefits and the disadvantages of AI. So I think as they keep on growing, they will know these are the advantages, these are the disadvantages of AI. So the more they grow into learning about AI, the more they will use it better. For example, like technology, Gen Zs, we have grown up using technology basically our whole lives. That's why we are more proficient and we use them better than our parents. You find that your parents ask you, how can I do this with my phone? Because as we have been in that stage since we were young. So teaching children, I think it's beneficial because like those images that are generated through AI, we can teach them how to detect images that are made from AI and the ones which are realistic. So I think it's good to teach children because it will give them a wide angle of what AI is.
Just to counter what Ryan has said, there's a time and place for everything, and a young mind is to be nurtured. So pumping into information that you're not sure about. I personally, as much as I'm exposed to AI, there are some footages, I might look at it and be like, is this really AI? Or is it real? Like there's still like some disparity there. So I don't think a child at the age of 5-6 years should be exposed to that. Like maybe later, because AI is going to be here, haiendi mahali. Just like, okay, whatever you're trying to put across is like, or since cars are here, we all need to learn to drive cars at a tender age. That can't happen because we don't have, our brain isn't developed to handle such. And even our bodies, that's what.
David, you wanted to say something?
Of course, I've listened to Angie, but whatever I can take from Angie is then, is it a norm or like the kind of thinking that we have here in Africa? Because a child is young, like you don't want to expose that child to things that they will be exposed to when they grow up. So I think, personally, I think it's okay to let a child know about AI, learn about AI, because that's the only way you can protect a child. We say like the best form of defense is attacking. So I would say the best form of protecting this child from this kind of like he said, the child, if the child is able to detect an AI image, imagine a 5-year-old can detect an AI image because you have been, 5-year-old is young. Let's say 10 or 10.
They're still trying to figure out their names.
Let's say 10 to 15, 10 to 15 years, they can detect an AI image. I don't think you can ever corrupt that kid online. Like cyberbullying or those things, they are able to detect those things. So if you go to up countries, the first world countries
Yeah.
or whatever they are called, you'll realize that a kid can drive at 10, at 15. She said, you cannot give a kid a car
Yeah.
to drive. So I see these things
I plead the
TikTok. I don't know if it's already like true or not. Of course, that's not an AI image. I see a kid driving,
Are you sure?
and I look at that kid. I'm sure that kid is 10 to 15, or maybe it's 16 there. So letting these people or these young people learn about AI would be better, because that's Generation Alpha.
Okay.
We're talking about Generation Alpha.
Yeah.
We are Gen Zs. As Gen Zs, our parents, like, we still thought like them. Like, okay, if my mom doesn't want me to use this and that phone at class, like at 10 years,
Yeah.
so it's wrong, according to her. But right now, personally, as a Gen Z, I'll give my son or my daughter a phone, like, interact with it, know what's wrong, what's right, what's okay to do, and that's the only way, like, we can protect them from AI and cyberbullying in future.
I think Angie still has an issue with what you
I
say.
feel like the men have misinterpreted fully what I've said. I'm not saying that, oh, close off your child, usimpesi. I'm not trying to say that. I'm just saying you shouldn't expose kids to things like, if you have homework, you can use AI to do homework at that stage.
I should have been specific.
I thought everyone has critical thinking skills. Honestly, I thought everyone has critical
To be specific now
Okay.
about homework,
Yeah.
obviously that's where we draw the line.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Obviously there is where we draw the line. Yeah, you cannot let her or him use AI.
Yeah,
exactly
but
that.
educating them about
Yeah.
AI.
That's our
No,
point.
no,
Like
not okay.
making you see in school we can have maybe a not a subject, maybe a segment about AI, not telling them use AI, telling them this is AI, this is what AI does, this is the advantage, this is the disadvantage. Just get making them know about AI and what it is, so that when they start using it, maybe when they are in high school or maybe in campus, they'll know what this thing is and what they're supposed to do or not to do with it.
Angie, I think Yvonne wanted to help you
because let her help me here.
Yvonne, do you want to add
Wananimaliza
something?
huku.
From my perspective, I can like much exposure to AI, it may lead to mental illness.
Okay.
Yeah, unaweza pata like mtoto ashaanza kuwa na shida ya macho because there is too much exposure to AI
And too much
kutumia
screen
simu,
time.
nini,
Yeah.
spending much time over there, so
Okay.
it may lead to mental illness na si poa, so yeah.
Okay.
But you see,
Yeah, Ryan.
spending too much time kwa screen kupatie maybe sa unasema nini visual, yani nakufanya ati wache
Coming
kuona
from a
poa.
macho
See,
is
that's why
crazy.
pia mimi niko na glasses juu the world is changing. Ukiwa na shida ya macho you can get glasses. Bado pia mental health, mtu akipitia depression even before AI, before technology, bado watu walikuwa wanapitia depression.
Yeah.
Na uzuri wa saa hii kuna therapist. So yeah, true. So even if kunaendelea hivyo, yani dunia ina change na tunafaa tu tukubali.
Okay.
Yeah.
So wagonjeke so long as watumie
AI.
AI.
Kuna therapist. Kuna therapist.
You know, it's like you don't get the point that he's saying. There is always a solution. And again, I know your phone, you use the eye comfort. There is already a feature for eye comfort. So definitely as a parent, I know my child is using this whatever tablet for long. If I don't, I can also ration the time. Like you'll use this phone from 10 to 11, then put it down.
Yeah.
Do your homework, do your other things, go play. Because of course, mostly nowadays they don't play.
Yeah.
Like if they are on their phone, TikTok, they won't play.
Yeah.
So I'll also say, as much as I'm giving the child that privilege of using or learning more about AI, I'll also be rationing the time. And I'll also teach them how to use that eye comfort feature. Like, just if it's a problem, just draw the phone.
Emphasis on eye comfort.
So before the solution, there is a precaution. Why don't you take the precaution before heading to the solution?
There's a proverb that says prevention is better than cure. So why create a problem that you can avoid?
But the problems that Yvonne said, they are already here, like depression. They're already here, even in the Bible. There are people who are depressed. So depression si kitu imekuja na AI. So hizi ni kitu itaishi hadi ile time the world will end.
But maybe sorry, go ahead.
So juu kuna therapists, depression inaenda kupungua.
But okay, let me just say this. Let me just say this. Okay, you've said depression are cases that have been here before, but maybe some may argue there's now increase in the number of depression cases, and I problems.
Hapo sijui, you know, kitambo hatuwezi jua kitambo kaa watu walikuwa na depression wengi juu. Unajua sasa you can document. Saa hao wange document, so watu ungejua. Mtu angekufa tu na depression, hakuna mtu angejua. Saa hii tunaona. We see.
Okay, let's just, because I feel like that conversation is not going to end. Let's just wrap it up by saying AI is good for the young kids, but it can be regulated on how they learn it. That's why we have guardians, we have teachers, we have parents to do that, right? We can all agree on that.
Okay.
Okay, finally, before we conclude, I'd like to ask, there's something you mentioned about the mental health issues and all that, and this has been brought about by, you see how people have really trusted AI, and once again I'm going to use ChatGPT as an example. I can remember there was a time, because you people are Gen Zs, I know you remember, there was a time on social media, there was this trend whereby people were saying you can command ChatGPT and tell ChatGPT to roast you or tell you something about your character and all that. Don't you think people are giving too much information to these platforms? Okay, should I say platforms? People are giving this AI too much information, and that's why it's leading to now such cases as, because you don't know how people will take it. Mtu anaweza enda hapo aambiwe, oh, by the way, you look this and this, or ChatGPT might decide to over roast you, and then you might take it too personal. So what do you think about that, Yvonne?
For me, what I think, I'm very sure that has affected a lot of youths currently, because you give much exposure to AI, like asking AI your personal information for it to prove for you, and maybe it may give you a feedback that is not good, which may affect you in one way or another. And that one can lead to mental illness.
Because you know, as much as we say AI is not human, those words will still strike you somehow. So David, please go ahead.
AI, okay, we are blaming AI, but you went there, keyed in information. You keyed in information to the AI, roast me. Okay, not roast me. There are AI also, I'm on the harmful side still, but let me start with the good side of that AI. You know, during Valentine's Day, let's just take an example, like you have no one, you don't have that Valentine, that person. People are going to AI and asking AI, like, today is Valentine's Day, I don't have someone, and AI is comforting you like it's somebody, of course. But there are those who their minds like tell them, if AI comforts me, then I am okay, and they relax. Now that's where AI now becomes a problem, and of course I can say it's us who are the problem. Now you are comforted by AI, and you feel like, if if AI told me
Yeah,
it
this,
loves me,
yeah,
yeah,
I'm okay.
nakupenda, and I do, because if you like you just commanded the AI to do that. So if AI tells you they love you, or it loves you and everything, you feel comfortable about it. If AI comments on how you look, like now I'm sure you can, many people have done that. You take a picture after you've dressed up, then you post there and ask AI, how do I look?
Yeah.
Now, if you go out there and someone tells you now, you don't look good,
Yeah.
now that contradicts whatever AI told you and whatever this human being told you. And now, honestly, I would advise you to listen to the human being, definitely.
Yeah.
Because I've seen you, and I've seen you several times. You've dressed differently.
Yeah.
You've dressed this way and this way. So if personally as a human being, I tell you, you don't look good today,
Yeah.
there is something I've seen that I've not, I didn't see yesterday or any other day.
True.
So if you choose to trust AI, that's where your self-esteem will go low. If several people tell you the same thing, you look bad today, look bad today, and the AI told you look good, now that becomes a problem.
Yeah.
So telling AI to roast you and then you cry, okay, it's kind of ironic.
Yeah.
You can't ask me to roast you and then you cry after I roast you. Now you're making ChatGPT look bad and you commanded ChatGPT to do the same.
Yeah.
So it's harmful and we are the ones making it harmful
Okay.
to ourselves.
Okay.
I can't ask ChatGPT to roast me.
Okay.
Personally, I can't. No, yeah.
So what you're saying is like the vile wahenga wetu walisema ni mwiba wa kujidunga, right?
Ile mwa kujichoma. So if you come and tell me, oh, ChatGPT told Siri, many people when they post, like you are insulting Siri, Siri is insulting them. Now if Siri tells you something worse than what you said
You angry.
to it, like you're crazy now.
Okay.
I don't think it's kind of like people are mentally, they have mental problems.
Okay.
Yeah. Apart from ChatGPT causing mental problems,
Okay.
people have their own mental problems. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for that. Angie?
Okay, first of all, we humans are irrational. I feel like AI is impartial, it's neutral, it does not have emotions nor feelings, so it makes rational decisions. But us as humans, we have emotions, you get? So yeah, to what David, to just add on what he said, like AI won't just wake up and decide to insult you or to make fun of you, you get? So you yourself are putting the problem on yourself. And that's a problem we have as a generation or as youth. We want to fit in so bad because ChatGPT, you didn't have to go and ask ChatGPT to roast you.
Definitely.
Exactly, ungekaa tu, but you want to fit in so bad, so you have to do whatever the rest are doing, and you know uko na insecurities, so mbona uende kujiongezea mashida. Okay,
Okay, Ryan, as you conclude.
That AI roasting me, it was just a trend because it was meant to be funny, but you know, if you are sensitive, it's not funny.
Exactly.
If it roasts you and says something accurate and you are not proud of whatever it's saying, it will hit a nerve, and it's your fault. Why did you go there and told AI roast me on this? And you know that this specific thing gives me anxiety or what. So if you tell AI roast me, then you cry, you basically made yourself cry, and that's not something you should do. If you have accepted yourself and you are not that sensitive, okay, you can tell it to roast you, but if you know you are sensitive, don't tell it to roast you.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much for that. And as much as this conversation is so interesting, and it's like the more we move, the more you people have more points. We are running out of time, so maybe if I could read feedback that we are getting. We have Millie who says she's following. Thank you so much, Millie. We also have Catechist Alfred Ahaza. He says, hello, Capuchin TV. He is following from St. Mathias, Mulumba Parish, Matunda, Catholic Diocese of Kakamega. Thank you so much, our dear viewer, for the feedback that you've shared. That shows that you people have really engaged with our viewer today. And also, once again, thank you for being part of today's set and being part of today's show. And our dear viewer, that was all from us here on From the Faith Show. And maybe what you could take home from today's conversation, like we've been told by our guest. AI is here to stay. Whatever you choose to use on these softwares, on these tools, is up to you, so that you can either get the negative side of it or the positive side of it. Anyways, apart from that, I have been your host, Susan Bulemi. See you next week, same time, same place, and be blessed. Well, hello to you, our dear viewers of Capuchin TV, and welcome to the Formni Faith Show, whereby we get to interact with the youth in various ways.
Let's stop judging people according to their tribes.
We present to you fresh perspectives, exciting conversations, engaging debates, Bible trivia discussions, showcasing of talents such as singing, dancing, art, and so much more from guests who keep it real and authentic.
Sasa wewe, nitajuaje hautanihash? It's true that human nature covers us.
So buckle up, because this season is about to be epic with me, your one and only host, Susan Bulemi. Keep